phone, actually. Yeah, well, most people seem to cope with managing a fantasy league team without giving up their day job, you know. Well, it's up to you. Your decision. OK, fair enough. It was Roy Hattersley.
Hello and welcome to Fantasy Football League.
This week we'll be meeting guest managers Lennox Lewis and John Motson.
We'll be recreating the day England lost the World Cup and then found it again.
And we'll be saying a big hello to Roger Miller.
Donc c'est pour ça que je dis que sincèrement il faut connaître les gens, il faut essayer de les comprendre.
Hello!
But first, some things we noticed from watching this week's football. After the humiliating defeat by Man United, John Fashanu said that their long ball game was being affected by high winds at Selhurst Park.
Oh, I mean, Corky's an easy sort of...
And now, we're not accusing anyone,
Oh, no.
but we can't be the only people. Who else heard this on Match of the Day?
We kept going and we got a just reward, really.
Why don't the club try and steal the thing? So I would guess so.
Well, the better the chances, and they thoroughly deserved it.
Could it have been? It couldn't have been. Just couldn't have been.
And we were all very excited about Terry Venables getting the England job until this week we found out who he'd got in mind to give him a helping hand. And then we were forced to ask... How?
Don.
How does a man who put the boring in boring Arsenal, who took West Brom down to the second, and who made Wimbledon what they are today, get to be at the helm of the new exciting England regime? How?
How does a man who spent his career telling players that they've got to be tough, fearless and disciplined explain the fact that he once led a players' revolt against a manager for this reason?
It's going quite cold now, and we asked him last week whether we could have track bottoms to run round him for the first half hour to get warm, and he said no, not on anybody. He was not going to let us do this.
How? How can he possibly think that this is a nice hat? How?
How can he choose?
How? Well...
Don't know, really.
No,
It beats me.
I should ask Fred Dinage.
Well,
I don't know.
Or Bonte.
So now, it's over to Stato.
Oh, hold on. I must go and check on old Mrs. Hilton next door. Old people, this weather, you never know. Do you?
All right. Stato, your news round, if you please.
As I look up at the sky, my mind starts tripping.
With non-scoring cup fixtures disrupting the league programme, several of our managers had quiet weeks. No change in the top two, with big spending Karen Brady, like real-life counterparts Blackburn Rovers, gradually closing the gap on Roy Hattersley. But storming up the table is our manager of the week, Basil Brush. A goal and an assist from John Williams of Coventry were worth 5 points, while Jan Fjortov's rich vein of form continued for Swindon. 2 goals earning the Old Fox another 6 points. And a Fantasy League oddity involving Tony Adams. He was credited with a clean sheet despite Arsenal conceding a late goal against Everton. Adams substituted in the 75th minute with the score 1-0, duly qualified for a clean sheet. A good week for David as he moves up to 4th, mainly thanks in part to a rare goal from Blackburn defender David May. People scoff when Eddie Large's assistant manager Mike Summerby picked his son in the auction, but 2 assists from the chip off the old block helped place Eddie amongst the challengers. Norwich's Chris Sutton did the business for this week's fancy guest John Motson. 11 more points for the Fantasy League's highest scoring player. Whisper it quietly, but this week's other guest, Lennox Lewis, slumped into the bottom 3. Only Peter Unlove of Coventry performed, and an assist and a fine goal against City, earning the world champion 5 base-saving points.
Round of applause for Stats. And Stato, just to clarify all that, for anyone who still doesn't know, what about a rules rundown?
In the Fantasy League, our 15 celebrity managers each have teams made up of Premiership players that they bought at an auction at the start of the season. Each week they score points depending on how those players do in the real Premier League.
And how do you score? Well, let's ask George Formby.
When I play against a goal I roar, that's 3 points added to my scoring. Would you make me cry if he'd missed? Oh joy, bliss. And it's 2 points if he gets an assist. If my defender lets one in, then that's a minus point to him. But if he doesn't, that's quite neat. Oh, grand. Oh, sweet. 'Cause it's 4 points, he gets a clean sheet. You get it, mother? She'll ask the milkman. Turned out Ince again. You're not like that. Yes, it's 3 points for a goal, 2 for assist, 4 for a clean sheet, and a minus point for every goal. You lose 1 for every goal, take 1 off for every goal. Conceded.
George Formby, ladies and gentlemen. Wonderful. Oh, the ball's fallen over. Actually, we get them all on here, all the old singers. We had Max Bygraves a couple of weeks ago and singing old football songs. And if you've got an old football song or a football song peculiar to your ground you wanted Max to sing, then write and let us know. Stato, in passing, how are you on cricket statistics?
Well, it's a great game for statisticians. Yeah, I like the game.
Would you know, for example, how many times a test match has been disrupted by a bloke walking onto the pitch holding a bar stool?
Hold it. I know the answer to that one. Once, actually, at the Oval in 1982, and I think we've got the clip.
I think, in fact, he's offering it to Chris Davery. Yes, I suppose it's an illustration of what at least one member of the crowd feels he's had to put up with here today. Young fella's getting just about the biggest round of applause that anybody's had today.
Now, what was that all about?
He looked very, very familiar, didn't he?
Was it you?
Yeah, it was. Well, if you'd had to suffer...
I
don't know where you got that from. I don't know where you got that from, but I'll put it in context.
It was on the news, I think, and everything.
Do we put it on context? You walked at a test match with a stool, and now you're going to put it in context. Go on, then.
Yeah, well, if I remember correctly, England was something like 180 on the last day in the second innings.
What do you mean to put it in context? I'm going to give you all the statistics surrounding me walking on with a stool.
The Indian captain Gavaskar was injured, so...
Never mind that. I want to find out about the girlfriend.
All right. How did you get on with that woman last week?
You know, she was brilliant. Do you know she put hands and feet in a court judge and...
Oh, dear. I'll just get into the sports pages.
It's a court jug, you say? Oh, it's John
Motson.
Motson.
It's John
Hello, John. Sorry, just a minute. Just we've come to you. What were you saying, Stato?
Well, you know you get those figs at Sainsbury's?
Yeah. What's happening?
Got a Walkman on, John.
It's Lennox Lewis!
Wowee! I usually throw these coats on the floor, but not this week.
Welcome, Lennox. Welcome to Frank. Nice to see you. Have you met John before?
Yes.
Have you met Stato before?
No.
Oh, well.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
So have you, we haven't seen you for a while, but I haven't seen you since the Bruno fight. What have you been up to?
Well, the Bruno fight was such a hard fight, so I needed a holiday. So I had to go take off to a beach and just relax for a little while.
3 months or so?
Yeah. Hey, well, I like sunshine.
He's better than I thought, Bruno. Because this is it with boxers, isn't it? It's really, really intensive training and then sitting about for a bit. Is that...
It is. Well, it's really demanding. And, you know, you have to train hard, and it's like you have to keep focused for like about 10 weeks. And then you need your mind to relax, so you need to take off somewhere.
Right. You have a good time?
Really good time.
You want to tell us? No.
Brilliant.
You're a West Ham fan, Lennox, is that right?
West Ham forever.
Oh,
There's one other.
Yeah, you know when you're on safe ground, mate. Yeah. There's all these people in Tottenham shirts going, no, I like West Ham.
Isn't it a bit hard to follow them when you're abroad so much, though?
It is, but as long as you know, even when I'm on the beach, I'll be forever blowing bubbles.
Well, I suppose if you are on a beach somewhere, you won't think, oh, I must get back to Upton Park as soon as possible.
Well, why not?
Well, no, fair
Why
enough.
not?
No,
you could actually, it's a thought you could actually, because that's your music, isn't it, that you normally come into in a boxing ring. Have you ever considered coming into I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles?
No, it doesn't create the vibe that Bob Marley creates.
Yeah, it's not cool enough, is it, really? It's hard to be cool during I'm Forever Blowing.
Plus, I don't want my opponent thinking that I'm soft.
Oh, no.
No, we don't want
that. No, because if you had Forever Blowing Bubbles, you think this will be a pushover. You a boxing fan, Motson?
Yes, I do. I go quite a lot to the fights. I'm very keen, yeah. I'm looking forward to hearing about Lennox's next fight. Phil Jackson, is it, in Atlanta City?
Yes.
You going to win that one?
Definitely.
Good man.
Definitely.
He's as confident as West Ham, you know. They talk like that.
Yeah.
Actually, football was my first sport.
Was it?
Yeah, and, you know, I developed into basketball,
right.
American football, and then boxing I seem to excel in.
Where did you play on the pitch?
Defense.
Right.
Yeah, fullback.
Yeah, because people wouldn't go around you. Right.
No, it's because I had, like, big feet and I could kick the ball really far.
Right, right.
Wimbledon missed a great opportunity with this one.
So, Motty?
I was just thinking he would do better than some of the defenders in my fantasy league team at the moment.
Yeah, you're not doing very well, are you?
I've conceded more goals than any other manager. Mind you, that's the bad news. The good news is I've scored more.
Right.
So it goes to show I picked an entertaining team.
Yes.
Well,
that sounds more like an excuse to me.
It is an excuse, definitely.
You played today, didn't you? You played some football.
I was going to play today.
Oh, you didn't?
No, thankfully the game was called off because of the weather, so we didn't actually get on the pitch.
That's a commentator's team.
It was. I was glad I didn't play in the end because I thought you might have sneaked a camera in there and embarrassed me tonight.
No,
as if we'd do a thing like that.
Who else?
Can I just, before we move on to this, I'd really like to know, what's the chances? Everyone is going to say, why didn't you ask Lennox and Frank this? When's the Evander Holyfield fight going to happen? Is it going to happen?
Yeah, it's going to happen November the 11th, providing that Holyfield beats Mora and Lennox comes through his next two defences.
Because you have to plan quite a way ahead, didn't you? Because weren't you going to fight Tommy Morrison at one stage?
Well, that's how we'll be playing that well.
And then you had a slight blip in that, instead he got a damn good hiding. So we could... That weren't your fault, of course. But so that means that then that'll unify the World Championship. So if you win it, you'll be undisputed champ again, which is good.
Undisputed, and that's my goal. That's what I want to be, undisputed champion of the world.
Commentary, yeah, the commentators' football team. Who else plays in your commentators' football team?
Well, we have, they're not all playing every week anymore. It used to play a bit more regularly than it does now, but we've got Alan Parry and Jim Rosenthal playing.
Right.
They both
do you kind of commentate on yourselves as you're doing it? You sort of go,
Well,
Motson beats Parry.
Yeah. It's me going down the wing.
Yeah,
oh, I've scored!
And then if someone does a bad tackle, do you all stand around saying, that's a terrible example to all the young kids?
Yes, that's probably one of the problems, really, because you know, we're not one of the best behaved teams in the league.
Really?
No.
A few punch-ups?
There were a few years ago, but we've ironed all that out.
Imagine it.
We've got too old now, so it's just an achievement to get on the pitch.
Isn't it hard for you lot to breathe when you've got them microphones?
It's difficult doing the half-time interviews because we interview each other, you know, going off the pitch and coming back on.
Actually,
I must say that I must tell John this because we got a letter this week, and it was asking for a goal. But this is particularly relevant to you, John, because someone asked for a Liam Brady goal from 1978, and they said it's a brilliant goal. Love to see it again. I don't know if you two remember this one, but we'd love to see it again. But particularly we want to see it because we thought the commentary was so brilliant on it, and you're commentating on this. So let's hear Motti in action.
Rice in there.
Dear, oh dear.
Oh, Brady won it beautifully. Look at that! Oh, look at that! What a goal by Brady!
Oh, look at that!
I'm really pleased you've shown that, because that answers all the people that think I'm a Tottenham fan.
Do people think that?
Oh, yeah. Well, a newspaper's actually published it the other week, without asking me, of course.
But you're a Charlton
Surely
fan,
you can sue, can't you, for publishing stuff like that?